National Lacrosse League Saturday Showcase. It is a clash of the prairies and the beaches. The Saskatchewan Rush and the San Diego Seals from Pechanga Arena in San Diego, California. Hi everybody, we welcome you inside the building alongside Nick Ocello. I'm Cooper Perkins. Haley Elwood will join us from the floor shortly. And Nick, it's not every day the top team in the NLL comes to 10. That is what Saskatchewan is with their 7-1 record coming into the night.
The Seals have their hands full tonight. Saskatchewan is red hot. A daunting task for the San Diego defense in particular.
Let's talk about this Rush team. They are atop the standings, coming off a come-from-behind win over Calgary last week. Fell behind early, ripped off 7 in a row, and this team is just so balanced in its scoring.
I said they were red hot. They've been averaging just under 15 goals a game in their last 3, and it's the way that they can attack you from up top, and really whoever is initiating the ball has their eyes up and their head up. The goals and assists, more importantly, such a tough task for any defense.
Yeah, last week all 4 of these guys at least 7 points. Shanks and Mans with 4 goals each. Ryan Keenan leading everybody in points. He has 16 goals in his last 4 games. It is really a whack-a-mole game for the Seals defense this evening. Speaking of this San Diego team, they have turned a corner finally, much to the joy of Patrick Merrill. They were 1-3. They've won 3 in a row, and last week a 10-0 run instigating that victory over Philadelphia.
And it seemed like this is what San Diego fans were waiting for, is that complete game. The offense, the defense, and as we saw right there, the transition all coming together to execute that 10-0 run. And really what impressed me the most was the consistency with the defense, how they got better with every single rep, which allowed goaltender Chris Origlieri to get much more comfortable in between the pipes.
And Chris Origlieri had been kind of taking some flack the first few weeks of the season, struggling out of the gates. After a 1-game stint on the IR, he's been among the best in the NLL. You see those numbers, an .830 save percentage the last 3 games. They need him to be at that level again tonight. So we are ready for face-off at Pechanga Arena. An interesting matchup at the dot tonight. Trevor Baptiste leading the league, 82% and change against Jake Naso, the second-year pro, who has been very good, improved in his second year. Face-offs matter these days, Nick, and these two guys really good at it.
They do. Very curious to see the X factors as we see Baptiste win that draw, but it's going to be these loose balls. And Zach Currier was such an X factor last week, and he's picking up right where he left off.
Yeah, right on cue. Zach Currier, first loose ball of the game. San Diego will have the opening possession. Seals scratches this evening, Chris Kavanaugh and Noah Armitage. Saskatchewan scratching Levi Verch and Clark Walter. Here's Trey Leclerc carrying across the top, moves it along to Connor Robinson, coming off his best game as a Seal. Back to Leclerc, winds, fires, and a save by the former Seal netminder and reigning goaltender of the year, Frank Scigliano.
Saskatchewan's defense plays so aggressive. They're going to be pressing out just beneath the board, so expect the athletic guys like Trey Leclerc and Wes Berg try and operate and quarterback this offense all game.
Robert Church fires on net. Origlieri the save. Let's send it down for the first time to Haley Elwood on the floor.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Obviously, both of these two teams are on win streaks, but San Diego, when we're looking at this game, all right, there we go. They're calling it. A measuring stick game, and Cooper, I'll let you call this vulnerable. Get right back to me.
Haley, that is my bad. I apologize to you. I should have known better than to not expect fireworks. You know, Trent DeChico leading the point and dropping it off to the trailer, Dylan Watson, who scores. But, Nick, that's going to be something San Diego really will like to see a fast start tonight.
It is, and we talked about how there was a complete game last week. Transition included. San Diego comes flying out of the box. Very well done.
Let's try this again. Haley, I apologize. This is a measuring stick game, as you said. Please do tell us more. We are, I promise, very interested.
It is, and the Seals are actually off to a hot start. Zach Currier told me they were looking forward to getting the chance to go up against this top team.
We apologize for a little bit of technical difficulty on Haley's mic. That is just a bummer. I feel terrible about that. That is a big old oopsie on me. I owe Haley a meal for that one.
I hope she chooses a nice spot. Stakes on Cooper tonight.
Well, San Diego on top, 1-0 after Dylan Watson's opening goal. Rush fell behind 3-0 last week before scoring 7 in a row against Calgary. Here's Leclerc, who buries it. Starts don't get much better than this.
They don't. We talked about how the rush defense plays aggressive. What is the antidote to that? Effective picks and quick athleticism. Pat Cavanaugh and Trey LeClaire, two of the quickest San Diego Seals, execute a beautiful pick and roll. And that, again, I will say it again, is the antidote to a defense that will pressure you and pressure you. How do you get into the swing of things? How effective is the pick? We talked to head coach Patrick Merrill before the game, and he said that's going to be a key. What a start for San Diego here.
And Courier draws a penalty on the ensuing face-off loose ball. San Diego will have a 6-on-5 opportunity as Origlieri goes to the bench. A problematic start for the rush on the road here in San Diego. LeClaire whips it over to Courier. A back-to-back goals for San Diego as they pile possessions atop each other. That was part of Patrick Merrill's game plan tonight. Wanted to win the time of possession battle and thought Trevor Baptiste would be a big part of that. Shot clock at 4 seconds. Courier's got to go. Courier to the middle. Watson twists it on. Chiliano made the save. And a little bit of pushing and shoving.
Sneaky great save by Chiliano right there. Watson with the full twister right on the doorstep. Chiliano's left hand flung out just at the last second. Yeah, they're going to call that every time.
That was Jake Naso. 2 minutes for holding. As San Diego goes to the power play, this has been a weak point for the team this season. Just 40% on the year. That's 12th in the league. And if you ask anyone around San Diego, that is not good enough. Their talent is far better than that number. And they would like to see that efficiency climb. Last week it was better, 3 for 4 against Philadelphia. Watson cycling it around. Misses high above the net. That too has been a problem for the Seals, getting shots on net, missing the net the second most of any team in the league this year. Berg down low as Chiliano the save. Oh, Nick, I want to talk about this rush team for a second here. One thing that hasn't been discussed enough that I think is really important is the way this team has matured. We've seen it happen in front of our own eyes as young guys have become adults in a matter of 2 or 3 years. Talking to Jimmy Quinlan this week. Last week, they were not shaken at all by their 3-0 deficit against Calgary because they had matured. They felt that sense of composure, which was his buzzword. You have to think tonight's no different, even though they're down 2-0 on the road.
It really is, and it kind of seems like, talking to Coach Quinlan, this has always been the plan. Hey, we know that we're going to be a little rough, maybe 1 or 2, for 1 or 2 years. And rough meaning not having that composure, that veteran presence. And they've just gone on the steady increase, kind of similar to the Patriots. They were a dynasty a couple of years back, 2 down years, and here they are at the top of the league.
Robinson kicked away by Chiliano, and a very quick loose ball by Jake Boudreau. If any player typifies that maturation, Boudreau is as good of an example as anybody. Went from being kind of self-professed, one of the less mature guys on the team as a rookie, to being a married man with a full-time job and really taking care of business both on and off of the floor. Penalty at 24 seconds. Anderson initiating. Young second-year player as he's dispossessed by Barkley, and San Diego will have one last gasp attempt here on the power play.
Really well done by Barkley right there. Isolated in a one-on-one against an aggressive Dodger. Well done.
Saskatchewan has barely had the ball in these first 4 minutes. San Diego 2 goals now, finishing out a power play. Penalty is released. Naso comes out. We're back to even strength. Leclaire up to Wesley Berg. Berg steps in, and Chiliano steers it to the corner. Jay the loose ball, and the rush, a successful penalty kill, something they have done a reasonably good job this year, top 5 in the league.
And something that sticks out to me about San Diego's power play, as we see an ill-advised turnover by Saskatchewan right there, is their lack of ability to get the goalie moving. Just about every single shot Chiliano was planted. He's obviously a great goaltender. You're going to want to get him going left to right or right to left.
Courier is going to initiate from the lefty side. 2-man game with Watson. Courier underneath. Surveying around, 10 seconds to shoot. Cavanaugh comes to give him help. Cavanaugh, the ambidextrous young rookie, running out of time and has to throw one on net, and it carries up into the netting.
With just over 10 minutes left in the first quarter, for that to be San Diego's first offensive possession where things were a little discombobulated, turns out that's a good thing. That means they've had just about 5 minutes of very crisp offense.
San Diego really put a premium on physicality on both ends of the floor tonight. Saskatchewan just so good in so many ways. Church hums it near side and missed everything. Might have gotten a piece of O'Reilly, so they reset to 30. Saskatchewan already proven that they can win just about any style of lacrosse game. Did not come out cleanly. Put back attempt, O'Reilly on the doorstep. Turns away the attempt from Keenan. And San Diego with two quick ones early, thanks to Dylan Watson and Trey LeClaire on top of the #1 team in the NLL, Saskatchewan. 2-zip, 9:33 to go in the first. Jimmy Quinlan's Saskatchewan Rush have won 6 games in a row, matching their longest win streak since the franchise record back in 2014 when they ripped off 14 in a row. Quinlan co-head coaches with Derek Keenan. It is an interesting dynamic on that Saskatchewan bench, but it works for them brilliantly. On the other side, Patrick Merrill, the head coach and general manager for San Diego. You know, there are 3 very different personalities in those primary coaching roles tonight between Keenan, Quinlan, and Merrill. It's fascinating to see the 3 of them operate.
It really is. You know, you got a little bit of fire and water. You know, talking to some of the Seals players, roster continuity was a comment that Patrick Merrill talked to us about this morning, and I think that that's really showing with his level of comfort in his team. He doesn't have to be so aggressive that guys might be getting uncomfortable, and just trust the guys to do what they do.
Well, San Diego expected a lot of pressure from Saskatchewan's defense on the perimeter tonight. Thought they'd have an opportunity to find some space in the middle as Courier bounces one wide of the net. No reset of the shot clock. He tries to track it down, but it's goosed away right to Mike Messenger. One of the truly dynamic players in the NLL. The ball is dispossessed and pops right to a San Diego defender. That's Connor Robinson, who was back. He works it ahead to Chico in San Diego for a moment. Thinks about pushing the pace, but instead will slow it down and continue this time of possession battle as DeChico dings the pipe. Well, that was a theme last week in Saskatchewan's game against Calgary. 5 pipes in the opening quarter. Eventually their offense broke through. This time it's the skinny red guys bailing them out on the defensive end. Here's LeClaire, wrong side of the floor, backhands it on, and Chiliano makes the scooping save.
San Diego's done that a couple times this season, especially when the right-handed players are initiating. They'll sneak someone behind the net to that far side pipe. That time it was LeClaire. Previously it's been Kavanaugh. Really tricky little set piece right there.
Working it through the lefties. Zach Mans. What a player he's become in this league. Church fires one on, one-timer. And a save by O'Reilly. You know, Robert Church is such an interesting player to look at because talking to people around the rush, he's noticeably more comfortable, noticeably more relaxed, and that comes down to guys just producing around him. The same can be said for both of these teams. The relaxation quotient seems to climb when there's a little bit more balance to be spread around.
And especially for Saskatchewan, you just see how their players, whenever they're initiating, those cross-floor passes are always front of mind, as we have our first penalty for San Diego coming up here.
It'll be an offensive penalty against Ben McIntosh as Bobby Kidd III ended up spread eagle on the floor.
That was an interesting conversation we were having this morning, is when a defense is pressuring you, how can you play physical and still within the rules where you're not going to be going on the shorthand unit? I'll tell you one way to avoid it is kind of avoiding that elbow going up to the chin. Refs are going to call that every time.
An illegal body check, 2 minutes for Ben McIntosh. Well, San Diego's PK has been one of the strong points of the team, even when they were struggling through the first 4 games of the year. Come in 63%, that's 3rd in the league. Great strength versus strength matchup tonight, though, as Saskatchewan 2nd in the league in power play percentage. Quick one-shot trip as San Diego racing up the floor. Eli Gobrecht leading the charge and pushing it into the corner to kill some time. That is a mature play from a guy who's really grown into himself, as he now has it taken away, and Saskatchewan can get back to work.
You mentioned it, but watching Eli Gobrecht the past couple years, you know, that's a play that he might have tried and went and got a shot on, maybe an ill-advised shot a couple years back, but his IQ has grown fantastically last couple years.
Mans and Church, the primary power play shooters, both of them 5 power play goals this year. Down low, looking to move it up top. Gets it to Shanks and over passes, sailing it wide. Mans tracks it down and launches into the corner as the shot clock hits 0, and San Diego will have possession. So early returns, first 52 seconds of this penalty kill, pretty good for San Diego as the Rush have not had much of substance.
And the penalty kill unit for San Diego doing a good job of making it, we'll call it a tweener decision. Somebody's a little bit open, the second option is a little bit open, but you don't really want to commit to either one of those passes. That's what San Diego's penalty kill does such a good job of, is making it difficult decisions.
Through the crease, whistle against San Diego. 40 seconds still in the power play for the Rush. Saskatchewan trailing 2-0. Dylan Watson and Trey Leclerc, a couple of early markers for the Seals, as Saskatchewan really for the first time tonight having a couple possessions consecutively. Shanks to the far side, can't get it all the way through, is Keenan unable to get a clean stick on it. And a loose ball, pinballing around, picked up by Mans. Swings it around to Keenan. Rolls it low, and it is stopped by O'Riglieri. San Diego can kill off the final 8 seconds of the penalty and go back to even strength.
There's still a goose egg on the board for the Rush, but you just kind of see what they're so good at, and it's those cross-floor passes. Not going to be a goose egg for long if those are completed at a high clip tonight.
Here's Cavanaugh, having a great rookie season, got his feet wet last year. Robinson, 5 seconds to shoot, running out of time, trying to flip for Watson, and that one very optimistic look for Connor Robinson as Watson was blanketed by Rush defenders.
You know, again, that's a 5-on-5 where, you know, the righties were already exchanging and going to the box. Kind of set up for failure with that pass right there.
26-year-old Josh Zawada moves it along to Keenan, now to the far side. Anderson swings it back to Zawada. Star at Michigan, then at Duke. Slings one low. O'Riglieri stays perfect in this first quarter. He has been as good as he's looked at any point this season. These are the shots that have snuck in on him early in games, but tonight he's been up to the task.
Yeah, his positioning's been great so far, seeing the ball well. An impressive start for O'Riglieri.
Courier to Robinson on the doorstep. San Diego penetrates the middle, and Zach Courier finds a teammate for an easy one.
Again, Zach Courier, I'm going to say that he's launching his MVP campaign right now. He recognizes that there's no help from the backside, gets to the most dangerous area of the floor where the defense has to collapse on him, and Connor Robinson is not going to have that easy of a shot very often. And the entire defense is crashing down on your teammate. All you have to do is catch and finish. Connor Robinson owes Zach Courier a Dr. Pepper for that one.
Well, back-to-back weeks now in which the Rush have fallen behind an opponent 3-0 on the road. We know how that turned out for Calgary last week. The Rush beat them 14-8 in a game that really wasn't very close at all. San Diego, though, a much more formidable opponent. 4-3 coming in, 5th in the standings. All still loose. Neither team has had a possession here after this face-off. And
who else? Courier. Who else would it be besides Zach Courier? I didn't want to jinx it, but anytime you see 77 in gold near the loose ball, there's something magical about his stick.
Already 2 assists and 3 loose balls for Courier in this first quarter. San Diego's offense with McIntosh flying on. Hums it wide. Courier twirling around, spins it back to Cavanaugh. Tons of time in the shot clock for San Diego, leading 3-0 in this first quarter. McIntosh sweeping, setting, shooting, and Shiliano the save that gooses right to McIntosh. Now Cavanaugh kicked away by Shiliano. A fortunate break for Saskatchewan as their goaltender bails out the mistake. Messenger had it taken away and Cavanaugh was denied.
Gotta say, San Diego's offense is looking remarkably well. This is a blueprint on how to beat Calgary's defense. They're throwing multiple looks and all of them are working.
Robrecht following Keenan, backing in on it. Tries to flip it out to Zach Mans, the electric Victoria boy. Mans steps in, shoots, and a save by O'Riglieri. And a brief trip as Matt Wright, the human refrigerator, comes barreling up the floor. He and DeChico run 2-on-1. DeChico to Wright, hits the post. 2 pipes in the first quarter for San Diego as this lead could be 5. Now Bobby Kidd the third. Guy who's really matured alongside Jake Boudreau and some of the other players. Saskatchewan trying to break through. Under 3 minutes left in this first quarter. Cycling it around, Shanks moves it to the far side. Scooping shot from Mans, carries up into the rafters, and we've reached the media timeout in San Diego. Seals on top of the rush, 3-0. You're watching the National Lacrosse League. The NLL on ESPN is brought to you by STX Lacrosse and Nike Lacrosse, the official equipment providers of the NLL. And by TFL Sports. Collect the stars of the National Lacrosse League with officially licensed trading cards and sticker albums. And by StubHub, your home for tickets to the speed and intensity of the NLL. 2:24 left in the first quarter. San Diego Seals on top of the first place Saskatchewan Rush, 3-0. Second consecutive week, Saskatchewan has fallen into a 3-0 hole on the road. Trying to break through against Chris O'Riglieri, who's perfect 8 for 8 in this opening quarter.
This is by far the best the Seals have looked all year. See what they can do to close out the quarter.
Anderson initiating off to Zawada. He's followed around, trying to get it to Keenan. Goldbrecht lost his bucket. It's picked up by Zach Courier.
You know, and again, moments like that, we've seen how dangerous the Rush's offense is, especially when they're trying to feed those laser picks to the front of the net.
Courier, always dangerous. He'll stay and play both ways. Working it through the far side. McIntosh and Berg. It's McIntosh off to Robinson. Shot clock under 10. Robinson patrolling. One-timer, McIntosh gets it on. Chiliano the save. Loose ball collected by the Rush as Saskatchewan clears it out of trouble. That was Ryan Barnable who picked it up to get it to Matt Hasek. League's reigning defensive player of the year. Austin Shanks, last year's playoff hero who was so very good. Shanks stings it near side, just absolutely burns Zach Deacon underneath.
A tough ask for Deacon right there. It seemed to me like he was playing defense as if he had support. So when Shanks executed that rollback dodge and no one was there, you know, again, we see how aggressive the defense was right there. You got to have a slide ready. O'Riglieri finally cracked, but here comes the red flag from Patrick Merrill.
Well, Patrick Merrill is not convinced that Austin Shanks had a good goal. Challenge flag is out on the floor, and we'll have our first official review of the night.
San Diego is challenging the call in the field of a good goal. That plays under further review.
Well, let's take a look at it with them.
Assuming the challenge is going to be the foot in the crease. And it's going to come down to that right foot.
I don't know.
Obviously, the ball crossed over.
I don't know that you can tell anything from that angle. This might help you a little bit.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on his right foot right. There. Oh,
close. But is it enough to overturn a good goal? That always seems to be the question. Is it definitive evidence?
Might give us a little something, but I don't think.
Maybe we can get that overhead one more time.
You know, if this was one of those spy movies where you could say zoom in and enhance potentially, that is not how the real world works. And I think right here, the frustrating part for, potentially frustrating part for San Diego is his right arm is actually covering where his right foot is.
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing this one getting overturned.
You know, I think if it is overturned, this is going to be the angle to do it. And you could argue that there's a sliver of green in between his toe.
If you're the officiating crew tonight, led by Kyle Kropman, Justin Kitashima, Nick Dos Santos, Carmen Massel, I don't know how you overturn this one.
the shooter's right toe touches the crease before the ball crosses the goal line. It is no goal.
So there you have it. I am entirely incorrect. It is enough evidence, and it is overturned, so no goal on the floor.
Still a shutout pitch by Riglieri. Maybe they had a view that we didn't, but big break for the Seals right there on their first mental lapse. And yeah, looks like, I mean, maybe I'm just getting old. I saw a sliver of green, but a big break for San Diego here.
Well, so the Seals are giving a little bit of a mulligan. Final minute and 15 seconds of the first quarter. Leclerc has it poked away. Fortunately falls to McIntosh for the Seals. Still 10 seconds in the shot clock. Robinson with room. Robinson burns it! Time and room for one of the best shooters in the NLL as Connor Robinson's hot run continues. He's got 2.
Patrick Merrill this morning was talking about how Robinson has been playing with more confidence and a little bit of a swagger. Look at where he starts winding up from before the line. And we were talking earlier about how the San Diego offense, they were struggling because they were too selfless. Who wanted to actually pull the trigger? Connor Robinson, make no mistake, when you give him room, he will take that shot every time.
Baptiste stays perfect on the faceoffs. Logan gets one on. Chiliano the save. And to your point about Connor Robinson, you know, Patrick Merrill told us he thought that maybe Robinson was trying to earn some goodwill, some trust from his teammates by deferring, but they've really needed him to step up and be a little bit more aggressive as the top lefty, and it's certainly turned into production the last few games. That's now 7 goals in his last 9 quarters of lacrosse. Shot clock at 10 seconds for San Diego, closing 25 seconds of the quarter. Kavanaugh has his shot deflected. Oh, it's off Chiliano, and that one's awfully close to the goal line. Oh no for the Rush. That was nearly a disaster. And now a bad penalty taken by Saskatchewan. Adam Jay is going to go all the way to the penalty box and sit down for the final 15.5 seconds of the first. Just a very uncharacteristically undisciplined and chaotic first quarter for Saskatchewan.
You know, I was just about to make the comment that the maturation of this Rush team, they can keep their composure. Just prove me wrong right there.
Saskatchewan minor penalty number 47 has 2 minutes. Illegal cross-checking.
Illegal cross-check against Adam Jay. That'll sit him down for 2 minutes. Final 15.5 seconds of the first quarter. Jimmy Quinlan looking on. His team having a lot of fun this morning, but not a lot of fun so far in the first quarter. Robinson moves it to the far side. Watson has it swept away by Holden Garland. And the Rush will run out the final seconds of the opening quarter.
Great job by Garland right there, getting his stick in the lane. And this game's getting a little bit chippy. Wes Bird getting after it right in front of the Rush bench. Maybe some fireworks.
Well, the San Diego defense now 3 shutouts in their last 4 quarters as they send the top-ranked Saskatchewan Rush into the second, trailing 4-0. It's all Seals here in San Diego after 1.
Welcome back to Pechanga Arena. We're now in his second season with the Seals. Zach Currier told me he is so much more comfortable in this do-it-all role and the nuances in this system. Patrick Merrill said Currier is a guy they can really use in multiple ways, and kind of made a joke. They messed with his head a little bit this season just by asking so much of him. But Currier doesn't mind, saying while he loves defense, he's learning so much more about the game of lacrosse despite playing it for years, and said he feels like being a rookie again, learning so much of the offense, but from his play, you would never know it.
You know, to that point, Zach Currier, such a versatile piece. Is there a better all-around lacrosse player in the world?
I'm inclined, and I'm trying not to be hyperbolic right now. Zach Currier is playing the best lacrosse in the world. The impact that he's had on loose balls, on offense, he's comfortable on defense. He already has a caused turnover. He already has 2 assists. He already has a couple loosies. I don't know how you'd be more effective of a lacrosse player.
And to your point, he's got a whole game stat line already in the first quarter. 2 assists, 7 loose balls, and a caused turnover. And that's playing mostly offense. As Baptiste Stays perfect on the face-offs, but a loose ball push. Jake Boudreau went to the floor. Saskatchewan will have it. San Diego starts the second on the power play for another minute 40. Adam Jay took a cross-checking penalty in the final 16 seconds of the first. Now Zach Mann's in this short man unit will try and kill some time and see about maybe adding their 5th shorty of the season. This is a team with a lot of scoring talent who certainly could make something happen in an isolated one-on-one situation. Here's Mans trying to go about it. And now a penalty away from the ball. Mans shoots. Origlieri the save, and we'll be back to even strength here as Logan picks up the ball. And we'll get the call from our official, Kyle Kropman.
Saw an offensive stick on the ground. Usually that means holding. So we'll see what the call is here.
San Diego number 93, minor penalty for holding the stick.
That's exactly right, holding the stick. The rookie Ari Steenhuis, just 19 years old, will sit down for 2 minutes.
You know, and that's a little frustrating if you're a San Diego fan. You start the second half after a great first quarter, push on the face-off when you had possession, and now making it a 4-on-4.
4-on-4 for a little over a minute. Mans chased around by Barkley. Far side, the shot bounces wide off the stick as Shanks. Keenan collects it, no reset, still 10 seconds. Keenan swimming to the net. Keenan underneath, draws the penalty on Barkley.
For what was a picture-perfect first quarter, this is about as bad as it could have gone. San Diego starting man up and immediately getting 2 penalties.
San Diego number 22 has a minor penalty for holding.
Well, Saskatchewan will have a 4-on-3 for about 40 seconds. Then it'll turn into a 5-on-3. Real opportunity for the Rush to chip into this 4-0 deficit on the road. Largest deficit they've faced since the start of their win streak, after losing to Ottawa by 3 back on December 12th.
Got to say, Origlieri is still playing a wonderful game. You know, kind of on some of those diving shots, you have the tendency to assume it's going to go far side, but he holds that near side pipe, shuts down that 5-hole opportunity. Great game from Origlieri so far.
Player gets double teamed and goes down trying to backhand one on, and it kicks up into the netting, so the Rush will have possession. Final 6 seconds before they go to a 5-on-3. 4-goal deficit, the largest they've faced this season, tying a 7-3 deficit. Excuse me, they led 7-3 in their loss to Ottawa. So this is, in fact, their largest deficit of the season as the Seals can clear it out. Unfamiliar territory for the Rush on the road, but with a 5-on-3 here for another 26 seconds. McIntosh trying to kill some time, works it to the far side for Wesley Bird. Connor Robinson feeding. McIntosh hums it just wide of the pipe as that kicks to the side wall, and the Rush back to work. Another 10 seconds in the 5-on-3. They're pushing it. Accioni drops it off, gets it back, steps in, burns it. Absolutely buries it past Origlieri. The give and go. Accioni to Church and back.
Well, you talk about how frustration can reveal itself sometime. Accioni shot this ball angry and frustrated, and it was a good pace. It was a good sense of urgency to take advantage of this 5-on-3. He just steps in, realizes that the defense didn't adjust or rotate, and says, I'm going to shoot it from about 7 yards away at 100 miles an hour. And the scoreless streak is over.
Rush finally break through 2 minutes and 29 seconds into the second quarter. Procedural against Jake Naso gives the ball to San Diego so they can kill off most of the final 35 seconds of this penalty. Well, now the whistle is changing direction, so it'll be a procedural against San Diego, and they'll pull Holden Garland back up to the center line. A little bit discombobulated, not sure quite what we're doing, where we're going, who has it, who doesn't. Patrick Merrill a little bit flustered, but has to mostly like what he's seen from his team so far.
In the first quarter, and then you know, looking at the stat sheet for the second quarter, Baptiste wins a draw to Courier, but there's a loose ball push. You immediately get a penalty. You immediately get another penalty. The ball's in your stick, and even though I'm not quite sure what happened, now it's in rush. Got to clean it up if you're San Diego here.
Church is the point man, gives it to Mans, gets it right back. Cycling around. Swatted away and taken away Danny Logan, then shot out of the can. He's in a foot race by himself. Logan coast to coast. Chiliano says no. Huge save for Frank Chiliano as Danny Logan nearly gave San Diego their first shorty of the season. Final 10 seconds of the power play for the Rush will tick off here before James Barkley is released.
What an effort by Danny Logan. It's got to be more. It's got to be fun when you're more athletic than everyone on the floor.
Even strength. Mans backdoor feet. He got there. Turns away Church. Tough read, tough save. San Diego out of trouble. The 5-on-3 nets only one goal for Saskatchewan.
An incredible save by Origlieri right there. His movement to go near side and then throw that right arm to that top corner. 10 out of 10 save.
Kavanaugh probing. Berg gets bodied, and he draws a penalty. That'll be a high hit as the shot from Leclerc sails up over the shoulder of Frank Chiliano. And Wesley Berg was absolutely decleated by Mike Messenger.
You know, it just seems like a bit of a misread by Kavanaugh right there, as that's about the first overall pick, Messenger, of who you least want to have your shoulder just bury you in the chest. Things are getting a little chippy down on the floor. But it just seemed like a bit of an ill-advised pass by Kavanaugh right there. Right intentions, but when you're making that pass to the middle of the floor, you kind of have to take a 1/1000th snapshot of what the backside defenders are doing. Messenger was already sliding to Berg by the time Kavanaugh was releasing that pass.
Saskatchewan, number 8, has a 5-minute major. Illegal body checking. That puts subject to automatic review.
So a 5-minute major, and per league rules will now be automatically reviewed. That could be a huge swing in this game if this is upheld. I'm curious what you think when we get this replay as to whether this warrants 5 or not.
You know, I'm going to do my best and try not to bring my biases into this, but you know, his elbow goes up after the contact has been made, but it looks like a shoulder to the chest. I think something that's not necessarily important to note, but when Berg got up, he actually went over to Messenger, and I'm assuming just said, "Nice hit, buddy." And there was no ill intent, saying that was a cheap shot, that was too up high.
It does feel,
we'll see.
And this is a real question right now in the league, right? You know, body checks, hitting defenseless players, all these subjects are really swirling a little bit at the moment, and this is not that in the sense of what we've seen the last couple of weeks. But you know, I don't think that this is a 5-minute penalty. It looks as though it's shoulder to chest, not head.
And you know, it's nice to have the luxury of slow motion right now, but the ball was out of Kavanaugh's stick. If that ball is not intercepted by the rush defender right there, Wes Berg is catching that in the most dangerous area of the floor. You know, you're always taught as a defender, meet that with physicality. Let's go down to the call.
The major penalty to Saskatchewan, number 8, has been reduced to a 2-minute minor illegal body check.
We're still a proper continent.
This feels appropriate. You know, yes, it was it was a hard hit. It was a little bit high. It certainly was with a blind side in effect, but 5 minutes did feel as though that would require some kind of ill intent, something that wasn't present there. And your point about Wesley Berg's reaction, getting up off the floor, I think really seals that point. Here is Berg. He shoots it up high on his former teammate. Frank Chiliano makes the save, and a brief trip down the floor for the Seals. 0 for 2 on the power play tonight as they've regressed back to the mean after a nice evening on the extra man last week against Philadelphia. One of the worst power play units in the NLL this season by the efficiency numbers. Levi Anderson trying to kill some time for the Rush. He has been a shooting machine, not necessarily efficiently, but certainly in volume as he gets one on wide, and it'll be effective. It resets the shot clock and pops right to a teammate. Haley gets it along to Anderson.
You know, there's some of these little battles that happen throughout the game. How dialed in is your shorthanded unit on the backside? San Diego doing a very good job. And they've gotten some opportunities on the shorthand.
Zawada sweeping low. Origlieri the save and nowhere to go with it immediately. Finally, rockets one up to Ari Steenhuis. San Diego still 50 seconds on the power play. They led 4-0 after the first. The Rush had a 5-on-3. They were able to convert into 1 goal, but could not make it a second before the back end of those penalties expired. But the one-timer in the middle, Watson not able to get it through. McIntosh couldn't handle the pass. Reset of the shot clock. Berg off to Watson. And that's Robinson, excuse me, into the middle. Wesley Berg scores for San Diego. Draws the penalty and puts it away. San Diego back up by 4.
Great job by the power play being selective about their shots. We talked about how they weren't getting the goaltender Frank Ciliano moving, but it was also shots from the outside. We see Westberg go and kind of set a little bit of a push pick right there, which creates just enough separation to give him the room to catch and score. Wesley Berg, one of the best sticks in the league, and it looked like his teammate was expecting that as a very well-timed pass in a short window of opportunity. San Diego trying to get momentum back on their side.
Berg's had kind of a hard time getting his scoring touch back this season. That's only his 9th of the season. He'd gone 2 of the last 3 games without scoring at all. Loose ball goosed into the corner. And pinballing around. Rush might have a chance at something here, but San Diego, guess who it is? Zach Currier. I don't know how he does that. He wasn't a part of the play, and then all of a sudden he has the ball.
His impact all over the floor. You know, again, if you're sitting watching as a family and your son is an aspiring lacrosse player, every time 77's on the floor, young players watch him and do that.
McIntosh cycles it for Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh squaring in, gets a pick from LeClaire. Kavanaugh's shot, not able to get it on, tucked it near side. No over and back, but the shot clock does run out as we've now reached immediate timeout in San Diego. Seals up by 4 on the Rush. It's 5-1, 8:51 to go. You are watching the National Lacrosse League. NLL Friday night on TSN moves to Saturday again next weekend when 2 heavy hitters face off as the Bandits visit the Thunderbirds. And it's Valentine's Day, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. You got any Valentine's Day plans, partner?
I do, but I don't want to say them over the air.
That's fair. Totally appropriate.
The fiance's tuning in, but...
Well, in this one, the Rush trailing San Diego 5-1 on the road. The 4-goal deficit is the largest they've faced this season. Took them 17.5 minutes to break through for their first goal, and they have not scored outside of a power play situation up on a 5-on-3. So San Diego has dominated the time of possession, which was a major part of their game plan. And the Rush find themselves playing from behind tonight. Cycling it across the top. Shanks moves it to Church. Anderson with 5 to shoot. Anderson scores! Levi Anderson around the defender and in.
Boy, what a shot by Anderson right here. And we talked about how the rush can attack you from all areas. Right now, this is just an easy one-on-one. And those first 2 steps by Anderson, he shot out of a cannon. We saw this all the time as he was in college, and that little flick of the wrist gets a lot more power than a lot of other players in this league. 2 steps to create separation, and Anderson cuts it to 3.
12th overall pick a couple of years ago. Kind of having a helter-skelter start to the season. That's only his 4th goal of the year, but they really are trying to get him going, get him more comfortable. Baptiste has dominated the dot so far tonight. That does not change on this face-off as he wins it back to DeChico, and San Diego a chance to answer Saskatchewan's goal. DeChico could not handle the pass from Courier. And now Boudreau will bring it ahead for Saskatchewan. Nearing the halfway point in the second. First place Rush trailing on the road 5-2. Mans moves it along, gets it right back. Mans chased around. One touch by Robert Church on net, kicks off the boards. Pops its way to Mans. One-on-one. Braden Bradley in defense. Now Keenan will slow it down, work it back through Church along the far side. Haley has it. And Shanks has his shot soaked up in front. That might have been friendly fire. Keenan hums it wide, got a piece of O'Reilly. It's a foot race for the ball. Bradley and Church running after it. And the physicality wins. Watson helping out with Bradley. Dylan Watson! The scramble drill. It's a goal for San Diego.
What a juice goal, starting with Braden Bradley. I can't even say his name. But Bradley does an unbelievable job getting down, causing that 50-50 loose ball, which allows for the Seals to get possession. He's not done yet. He goes and sets the down pick. And Watson has a wide open net. Bradley, the hero of that goal, and you know that the bench is going to be fired up about that effort.
Clean face-off win for Naso this time as he takes out a little bit of frustration and wins it back to a teammate. Now San Diego back up by 4 after the second of the night by Dylan Watson. Comes on a busted play after a wide shot by Ryan Keenan. Now the rush on offense with Zach Mans cycling it to the righty side. Zawada moves it along. Haley's pass swatted to the corner, and now Leclerc moves it along. Up to Courier, thinking about it. Courier down low, and Chiliano makes the save.
Gotta say, San Diego has their foot on the gas in transition. Something the Rush are gonna have to start combating because they're getting multiple looks.
The Rush have already shown the ability to win just about any kind of game this season. San Diego trying to force them into a new tempo. It was interesting, we talked to Patrick Merrill explicitly about that earlier this week. We said, hey, if you guys are going to try and win this game, what does the game have to look like? And it wasn't really a clear answer. It was more of a physicality-oriented thing, but you have to think that this tempo does favor San Diego a little bit. Bird shot turned away by Frank Chiliano. Robinson collects at the fresh 30.
Might have hit the pipe again, but yeah. And you know, I think that's a good sign when the coach isn't being specific. Kind of I cued into we could win in a number of different ways.
Watson goes to retrieve the loose ball from Kavanaugh. Now Wesley Berg isoing. Shot clock still with 10 seconds. Gets a pick from McIntosh. Berg looking for help. Now Kavanaugh, 5 seconds. Working to get underneath. Kavanaugh running out of real estate. Runs out of time and throws it on the back of the net. Fooling about half the people in the crowd. They thought that was a goal. I'm not sure why, but mom goal gets you every now and then. Got me last week.
It got you last week, and it was kind of funny depending on where you were in the arena. About half the fans who didn't have a clear view got excited, but a good effort from Kavanaugh. And that's the type of defense the Rush need to play. That was physical, and they had the San Diego offense on their heels.
Keenan draws another penalty. Second one he's drawn tonight. 6-on-5 coming as Chiliano motors his way to the bench. On the backside, Anderson stuffed by O'Reilly.
Boy, Origlieri's playing a great game. These saves are getting more difficult, more acrobatic, and he's standing tall.
San Diego, number 15, penalty, illegal cross-check.
Well, Graydon Bradley sits down for 2 on an illegal cross-check. Saskatchewan down by 4, trying to cut into their deficit. They'll head to the power play when we come back to San Diego. Saskatchewan to the power play, trailing by 4 late in the second quarter on the road in San Diego. The league's first-place team facing their largest deficit of the season. With Graydon Bradley taking a penalty, they'll have an opportunity for 2 minutes to try and chip into this 4-goal deficit. Keenan, the point man in the power play, 1 for 2 on the extra man so far tonight. Man cycles it. Church gives it right back. Down low to Anderson, creeping in, backside look, couldn't get it through. Anderson along the man's. Courier putting the pressure on. Anderson, backside look. Pass disconnected, trying to get it to Shanks in a shot clock violation. Good defense by the Seals, and Shoemake can get it across center line.
Didn't result in a goal, but this rush power play looking a lot better. Those passes are crisp, and again, it's the dangerous passes that they're so good at from up top to the back pipe.
Watson looking for a first-half hat trick. Chiliano up to the task. Now here's Boudreau. Feeds. Boudreau gets it back. Boudreau sticks it. Great ball movement and transition by the rush. Boudreau and Shanks back and forth. And Saskatchewan back within 3.
Well, you talk about stick skills. Usually you have time to make only one pass right there. So for it to go back and forth, just an impossible task for Gobrecht right there. And then a great finish. And again, we talk about getting the goaltender moving. That second pass is so hard because he's going to his right, has to come back to his left. Very well done by Boudreau right there.
As much as we talk about those 4 leading scorers for the Rush that each would lead San Diego in scoring, they do still average 3 goals per game or thereabouts in transition goals. That is a very important aspect of what Jimmy Quinlan and Derek Keenan's team needs to do, not just to get back into this game, but to be successful week in and week out.
And even on the power play, you know, normal, oh, watch out, here comes another one.
Uh-oh, Naso can't handle it on the doorstep, and Origlieri is very fortunate to not even see a shot from that sequence. But partner, I'll let you finish your thought here.
Oh, big missed opportunity right there. But most teams, when they're on the power play, they just want to get their best scorers on the floor and play out that 5-on-4. And it just shows the comfortability the Rush have in transition to say, hey, we have an extra guy. Let's take advantage of that in a 2-on-1 running up the floor.
Chico on a stay and play. Followed around by Ray. Now McIntosh. Leclerc. 4 seconds to shoot, running out of time. Leclerc way up high, couldn't get it on net. Messenger works it ahead to Holden Garland, and he will think better of trying to squeeze a pass through the Seals' sticks back in defense.
Rush getting into the swing of things defensively too. That pressure is starting to keep San Diego's offense on their heels.
Saskatchewan also getting on the floor in a hurry. Their offense plenty of time to work with. Mann's pinballing around, gets underneath. Bradley plays it off the boards and running his way into open space. He has Stainhouse ahead of him. Far side has Watson, now slows it up and steps on the brakes with 2:35 to go in the second. And Stainhouse is going to go to the box for the second time.
Yeah, I think Patrick Merrill is going to be a little bit frustrated with this one. You know, there's always going to be a little bit of chippiness, especially as you're kind of transitioning through the heart of the Rush defense, and Stainhouse just went to throw a check, threw it too high. You know, when in doubt, aim for the hip. You do not want to go to the box on essentially a nothing burger. As Jay might have a trip to the dentist, hopefully not. Yeah, you know, again, the rush, to your point, Cooper, they've done a great job with those hustle plays getting back. And, you know, we see Stainhouse right there kind of getting harassed, throws a check, and then that one throws one more right there. And that got him right in the jaw.
That might be 5.
It might be 5. I was just going to make that comment that, you know, we've seen the 5-minute review already tonight as Jay points and says, hey, I'm not bluffing that he got me up top. I might be missing a tooth here.
The call in the field, San Diego, number 93, has a 5-minute major for illegal cross-check. That play's subject to automatic review.
Unlike the earlier 5-minute major against Messenger that was reduced, I'm not sure that this one is a minor. No, I don't think Stainhouse had ill intent, but this was pretty reckless.
You know, and again, we see this little tussle right here. That's going to happen, you know, game in and game out. That's fine. He gets a little frustrated. And yeah, you know, just the fact that it was a cross-check, you know, the metal might make contact with the teeth. Those hurt. I only had one of those. And, oh, yeah, that's – I don't see a way in which they overturn that, really.
Who pays the dental bills on that kind of thing?
Not the player. Somebody does. But again, you know, you got to play within the boundary of the written and the unwritten rules. You know, you're always going to get a how do you do, a little cross-check away from the ball. That's just part of the game. But there's always that gentleman's agreement. You know, we're going to do this at the same rate. We're going to, you know, I'll match your energy, you match mine. And it's always keep it below the chin. And my goodness, just right up. So I would not be surprised to see this maintained as a 5-minute major.
Well, if this is a major penalty, that is a disaster for San Diego and a huge opportunity for the Rush.
Looks like they've come to a decision. We'll have to tune in here.
After review, the call in the field has been confirmed. It's a 5-minute major, illegal cross-check.
That is a very significant swing in this game as the Rush now head to a 5-minute power play, the opportunity to score twice and cut their deficit from 3 down to 2.
San Diego shot themselves in the foot a couple times in this second quarter. No bigger moment than that. And we'll see if the Rush can capitalize here. And
by the least experienced player in the lineup, 19-year-old rookie Ari Stainhouse losing his composure and taking a really poor up-high cross-checking penalty against Adam Jay. The Rush now an opportunity. Church gives it back near side Keenan. Works it to Shanks. To Church. Steps in, kicked away O'Riglieri. Down low, it's Brock Haley. Now back to Church. Shanks spins it wide, missed everything, and that one's going to be over and back against the Rush. San Diego shot out of a cannon here. Zach Courier on the shorty. Courier saved by Shiliano. A huge stop for the Rush.
I don't think Zach Courier realized where that rebound went. It was kind of right in front of him and maybe had the potential to kill a little bit of extra time, but what an opportunity.
He had gone through the crease, so by rule he could not be the first to touch it. That's what he was thinking. Up to the point for Church. Steps in, soaked up. DeChico now out and running. DeChico thinking about it. And he's going to slow it up and eat some time, recognizing that this is a long penalty kill. Got to pace yourselves. Under 1:20 left in the first half. Connor Robinson for San Diego. Ari Stainhouse, a 5-minute major illegal cross-check up on the chin of Adam Jay. And DeChico's shot vacuumed up by Ryan Barnable after the save by Shiliano. Final 60 seconds of the first half.
You know, on the flip side of that momentum coin, if you're a glass half full San Diego fan, you kill a 5-minute major with no goals against, whew, you're cooking.
I still have 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go to even think about that. Man's to the far side, behind the net, and that's not going to happen because Austin Shanks sticks it in.
Jinxed it.
Spoke far too soon as Shanks nets his first of the night, and this one will count after having one erased on a review earlier.
You know, we saw Riglieri make this save earlier, and Shanks does such a good job placing that ball. There are two things that matter most when you're trying to execute this diving pass. One, the speed at which you do it. The second, the placement of the ball. Shanks, in a split second, catches, jumps, and buries. High level of execution.
Shanks was just a massive free agent signing last year, coming over from Halifax, having a career season. Really exploded in the playoffs to become one of the really top-tier scorers in the NLL. And a timeout is awarded to San Diego with 29.4 seconds left in the first half. Still 3 minutes on the 5-minute major. Coming up on the game halftime, we'll have first half highlights, some halftime stats, and the latest edition of NLL Wired. Patrick Merrill surely will have some words for his team as San Diego trying to draw something up. So it looks as though the shot clock will be off, which means Chris Riglieri can go to the bench and San Diego can play 5-on-5 if they'd like to. What's the one thing they absolutely cannot afford to do?
Well, you know, if they go 5-on-5 and then have a turnover early in that possession, Rush get a shot on the empty net, that's the absolute worst case scenario. But I would say it would be make a bad decision within the first 10 seconds of the whistle. You know, Patrick Merrill has kind of famously been, you know, what do we do in the first minute and the last minute of every quarter? Well, we're down to the last minute. You just have no room for a mental lapse in judgment that will give the Rush an opportunity to do what they've already done in this game, which is execute a 2-on-1 or a 1-on-none in transition. So you'd rather have your guys settled than give up anything in transition.
I want to circle back to the conversation we had earlier tonight about the maturity of this Rush team and how they've really gone from being young guys into adults in 2 or 3 years, and tonight has been as good of an example as any. Yes, they do still trail by 2 on the road. They faced 4-goal deficits on 2 separate occasions, but this team by no means looks anywhere near panicked.
No, and you know, we were talking about it in San Diego, but again, kind of a role reversal. It's the Rush that have gotten better and smarter with every shift, particularly defensively. That aggressiveness bit them in the first quarter, and then they cleaned it up and have had the San Diego offense on their heels for just about the entire second quarter. So just the IQ and the growth from this Rush team, there's a reason why they're at the top of the league.
Leclerc has it dispossessed. It pops all the way to Robinson in the corner. San Diego playing down a man with Riglieri in the net, choosing to be conservative at this time with the shot clock off. Ball still loose.
Yeah, uh-oh. This didn't look good. This was the man on Robinson.
This is Holden Garland.
Yeah, Garland's such a great player. He was the man on Robinson, so when Trey Leclerc got stripped of the ball and Robinson went over free, and I'm really hoping that wasn't just a non-contact injury right there.
The Rush, for the most part, have been pretty fortunate to avoid the injury bug so far this season. They actually had no players listed on the injury report this week. But this is a tough one to watch. Holden Garland down on the floor being tended to.
You know, and regardless of where you fall as a fan, this is just something you don't want to see. Garland's such a good player, leader in that locker room, guy that has a lot of respect from everybody around the league.
While we have a moment, let's go ahead and take a look at some action in the other game going on tonight, Vancouver and Rochester. Can you believe that there was a fight in warm-ups before this game? Tyler Biles and Jackson Subak dropped the gloves and had a whole Thunderdome circle around them. I mean, there are definitely some hard feelings between these teams after the Ryland Hartley situation a week ago.
There really are. You know, you never want to see, you know, that Heartland situation play out. But knowing that they were going to play each other again, that was almost appointment viewing. And that's unfortunately not looking good. We wish him all the best.
That is Holden Garland, one of the anchors on Saskatchewan's defense, being helped to the locker room just a couple of seconds ahead of the end of the first half.
And honestly, from a player's perspective, that's sometimes difficult to overcome, watching one of your teammates go down. We'll see how the Rush respond.
Final 13.8 seconds left. Berg at the point, chased around by Barnable, gives it back to Courier. San Diego trying to get one last shot off. Courier sweeping across, lost the ball. 3 seconds, Saskatchewan here, final second of action, and cannot get it on net. O'Riglieri was there anyway. And we will go to halftime. Half of the 5-minute major elapsed. Saskatchewan still with 2 minutes and 30 seconds of power play time to start the second half. Ari Steenhuis greeted at center field by Austin Shanks with a little bit of a, hey, how you doing? I don't think that Steenhuis is anybody's favorite player on the Rush side right now. Well, as San Diego takes a 6-4 lead in the halftime, Austin Shanks, a big goal just ahead of the half. He's down on the floor with Haley.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Austin, your coach told us this morning when you got back into this thing.
Yeah, you know, we know what we're doing right. We know what we're doing wrong. We just got to go and execute. Way too many mental mistakes. A lot on my part there, to be honest. So we just need to clean it up mentally. We're working hard, but use our brain a bit more.
What's the biggest emphasis for the second half physically out here on this floor?
Exactly what we're doing. You know, we play hard and tough for 60 minutes. We just need to clean it up mentally.
Thanks, Austin.
Cheers.
Well, the Rush head into the break down by 2 goals on a 6-game winning streak and in first place, but a long way from home here in San Diego. Frank Scigliano in his return to the Electric Factory, watching the Seals take a 6-4 lead into halftime. We'll have coverage during the break coming up after this. It is halftime in San Diego. We've also reached the halfway point in the National Lacrosse League season. This year we put a microphone on 17 players and coaches for NLL Wired. Let's take a look at the best of the season so far.
We have got to go through the middle. Get better spacing. When the ball moves, hit it, move. I'd like better body language right now. We'd like better body language.
Do the little things right like we've been doing, and we'll leave here with the win.
There is times when you're a little frozen in transition. You're like, no one knows what to do. You're beside a guy. That's when you can just put him into the crease.
Who else but Lyle? Who else but Lyle?
If I get him on the spin seal again, you got to come over top of me.
I know, I gotta shoot it. Hey, they're obviously going behind every time. Go, 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 Matt, go, Matt. Back door, back door.
I'm up, I'm up. I'll call net. You want here, Bill? You want here?
I'm low, I'm low, I'm low. Fire, 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 fire.
I know you two are so sensitive.
What's that?
I didn't know you two are so sensitive.
No, we're not sensitive.
Take notes, baby. Take notes.
Left side.
Yeah.
Like for you to get inside that.
I feel like sometimes it's easier to open outside, and then if I'm already going that way, then I'll just stay going that way.
Here we go, baby. Let's go. The longer the 30 goes, the more we're going to wear them down and get exactly what we want.
Yeah! Come on, baby! Come on! Give me some!
How do I mark this?
Hey, let's keep this up, right? Let's go. Come on now.
I'd rather us get higher on the 3 than show from the 2.
Why am I mad? Tell me why I'm mad. Be on the board when we make a good play. It's kind of lifeless in here. Go, 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 hard! Get our legs here!
Here we go! Let him hear it! Let him hear it! First of many! First of many here, boys. Let's go!
Attaboy, Pooch. Way to grind. Way to grind.
Get that ball! Can you get that ball? Can you get that ball? Yo, player intros and national anthem. It was goosebumps. There's a lot of emotion. Debut, man. Good job. Good job, John. Love you, dog. Bang!
Halftime in San Diego. Seals on top of the Rush, 6-4. Cooper Perkins, Nick Ocello, Haley Elwood with you from Pechanga Arena. It's been an entertaining first 30 minutes of action. And you know, Nick, the Seals opened up an early lead. It was 4-0, 4-1, 6-2. 4 goals, the largest deficit the Rush have faced all season.
It's a little bit of a back and forth tale of 2 quarters, but that first quarter belonged to the Seals. And, you know, again, it was the variety with which they did it. You know, we see Courier and Robinson right there. But make no mistake, the Rush came back and fought hard on their own. But that ended up getting called back. But the Seals just executed so well in that first quarter. Robinson getting comfortable, playing the 2-man game. Righties handling the pressure well. But come second half, it seemed to flip the script with the Rush not only taking advantage of the penalties that San Diego was getting, but pushing in transition and playing good defense as well.
You mentioned the penalties. San Diego's Ari Stanhouse took just a terrible penalty, a 5-minute major on a cross-check of Adam Jay just before halftime. That gave the Rush a 5-minute power play. The first 2.5 minutes, they converted into 1 goal. Here's Dylan Watson scoring for San Diego. He scored twice along with Connor Robinson. They're the only multi-goal scorers in this game. This is the power play marker. Boudreau off the feed from Austin Shanks. And, you know, that was the penalty. It really was just so unnecessary and did a lot to unravel what was otherwise a very, very good first half for San Diego.
Yeah, you know, now San Diego's looking at an uphill battle. As you know, we see the Rush take advantage of that power play opportunity, and they get another 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But you know, wrapping up that injury is going to be a tough one for the Rush to stomach.
And that was also Holden Garland being helped off the floor with what looked to be, unfortunately, a rather significant knee injury. First half stats: San Diego out shooting the Rush, dominating the faceoff. Credit to Jake Naso, though. It was 6-1 early. He's won a couple in a row. The power plays. You know, if you're San Diego, this has been really a bugaboo for them all season. They have not been good on the power play. Their penalty kill has been good, but this Rush team is just too good for them to take as many penalties as they have.
Yeah, you know, regardless of how good your shorthanded unit is, you don't want them on the floor.
We'll have the second half coming up shortly here at San Diego. Seals on top of the Rush, 6-4. Starting the second half in San Diego, Seals on top of the visiting first place Rush, 6-4. A very entertaining opening 30 as Saskatchewan trying to climb out of what was a 4-goal hole. Here are some scores around the league, some interesting scores at that. Vancouver ripping off a whole chunk in a row, really blowing the wheels off of Rochester in the second quarter. Georgia beating Las Vegas. Toronto on top of Oshawa. Philadelphia, how about that score over Buffalo? Bandits are 3-5. Who would have thought that?
I would have never thought that, especially, you know, Philadelphia coming off of what I thought wasn't their best performance by any means. How are you going to bounce back against Buffalo? Oh, well, just like that.
Beat them on the road in Banditland. That's certainly something. Well, at this time, we'll hang around and send things down to Haley Elwood on the floor for the game interview.
How were you able to dictate the pace in this first half?
Sorry? Say that again, Woodsy. Say that again. Yeah, you're a fucking real winner, aren't you?
We apologize for a little bit of technical difficulty with Haley's mic down on the floor. There's Patrick Merrill, San Diego's head coach. You've been in locker rooms with Patrick. How do you think he would navigate this kind of conversation? You're up by 2. You played a very good first 28 minutes or so, but you're facing a 5-minute major and another 2.5 minutes on the penalty kill. How do you think he sets the stage for the second half?
You know, it's almost I'm more curious than anything, because given some of the perspective of the players that I talked to, he seems to be a little bit looser, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more trusting. But certainly when I was playing under him, regardless of the score, regardless of the situation, he would always reiterate, keep your foot on the gas. But that might also be some advice that keeps them in the penalty box. So keep your foot on the gas, but play smart. Don't do anything stupid. But again, you know, the Seals have an uphill battle with a little over 2 minutes in penalty to kill here.
Baptiste and Naso, a good matchup tonight. Baptiste 8 out of the 12. Naso has won 3 out of the last 4. And it'll be a procedure against Naso, giving San Diego possession. Or, excuse me, other way around. Baptiste, the procedural, giving Saskatchewan possession. A rush on the power play. Ari Steenhuis would be released with one more Saskatchewan goal. Keenan is the point man. Church to his left. Mans to his right. Here's Mans. Cycle around to the point. Now it's Church back to Mans. To Keenan. Steps in. Might have gotten the pipe. Into the corner. Anderson has it in a fresh 30.
Well, good ball movement so far. Look for them to keep that up.
Keenan stepped down. Deflected shot. Eli Goldbrecht got a stick on it. Anderson broken play. Church! The Rush capitalize on the scramble drill. It's a one-goal game.
Boy, you talk about ball movement. That is about as good as it gets. I think that shot rang off the pipe. What do? You get the ball and you get it out of your stick. Again, we talk about the variety with which the Rush can attack you. Certainly that's 5-on-5, but even more pronounced in their power play. Shots coming from all over the floor. Very well done.
First of the season for Robert Church, playing a much more laid-back style of lacrosse this season. Feels like he's been rewarded after sticking it through a couple of tough seasons. And really pouring it in. 20 points in the 3 games entering play tonight. That'd be 399th goal of his career. One more for 400.
Got to say credit to Naso here. You know, we always make the comment that not all goals or not all faceoffs are created equal. Certainly want to get possession to kill some of the penalty, but watch out here.
Leclerc to Courier, airmailed it. Missed opportunity for San Diego as Courier gets his feet taken out. And San Diego will have it on a loose ball push. That was a bit of an adventure of a choice by Frank Chiliano to come out of the net.
Got to say something that's impressed me about Baptiste too is kind of his career arc. Much better with the ball, and even though he lost the clamp there, still turned up as an opportunity for the Seals.
McIntosh sweeping up top, around to Courier. Still half the shot clock. 2-man game with Robinson. Courier stripped by Hasek, still loose. And Saskatchewan takes it away. Hasek up to Messenger. Unsettled opportunity for the Rush. Human bulldozer instead slams on the brakes and posts up a defender from San Diego. Now Brock Haley, the offense, can go to work. Well, back 5-on-5 after the penalty was released on the goal by Church. Outlet ahead to Chico. Whirling around, has Matt Wright with him. Now leaves it for Kavanaugh. Switches hands back to his right. Now it's to Chico. San Diego reeling a little bit, led this game 5-1. Since then, it is a Rush run as Watson tries to twist it on but can't get it through. McIntosh steps in and Chiliano swallows it.
You know, the difference to me in the Rush's defense from the first quarter, where they were kind of on their heels, is how much ball pressure they're applying at the moment of the pick. Next time a San Diego offensive player goes to set a pick, you'll notice that they're okay with leaving that guy open so long as they have a double team on the ball carrier and making that an impossible pass. They've done it 4 or 5 times now. Very impressive.
Rush with 4 of the last 5 goals in this game. Robinson across the top. Robinson trying to go back near corner. Up against the wall. Courier couldn't handle it. Robinson can't goose it either. And finally Courier, no reset of the shot clock. 5 seconds. Kavanaugh with it. Chased around by McClellan, and Kavanaugh gets it on net. Hits the logo on Chiliano's chest. Seals thought their offense had to get off. They have to come now back onto the floor.
Sneaky big value in Pat Kavanaugh. Just, again, you know, we talk about that ability to be right-handed or left-handed. How does that materialize throughout the game? Of an extra possession here.
Chico and Watson, the 2 lefties. Kavanaugh, McIntosh, Leclerc, the righties. It is Leclerc off to Kavanaugh. Mishandled it. A rare mistake, unforced by Kavanaugh. Jay fires it ahead. Breakaway. Barnable sailed it over the crossbar. San Diego got away with an oopsie.
I think Trey Leclerc did a good job with that kind of last-second wrap check, impacting the quality of the shot.
Penalty away from the ball as Origlieri goes to the bench. San Diego will have a 6-on-5, slowing down this chaotic pace for a moment. Courier and Berg, the 2 men up top. McIntosh to Chico on the crease. Watson, McIntosh down low. Here's Berg, chased around by Boudreau. Flinging it behind his back is to Chico, and it's handled, picked up there by McClellan, sending San Diego to the power play.
Something to keep note of here is kind of as the game gets more chaotic and both teams trying to push transition, which players are getting caught going back and forth. We saw Pat Cavanaugh, Zach Currier, Trey Leclerc all on defense. It's going to be a game of conditioning.
Saskatchewan minor penalty, illegal substitution, served by the NLL.
They get Saskatchewan for the illegal substitution, meaning Brock Haley, the in-home, will serve the penalty, and San Diego will have a chance to improve upon their power play that's gone 1 for 3 tonight. Stark difference between the two teams. The Rush, 4 of their 5 goals have come on the power play. San Diego, just 1 of their 6 has come on the extra man. Berg's the point man, moves it to Leclerc. Robinson now on the right side. Back to Berg, off to Leclerc. Cycling through. Leclerc with the missile! He fired that one all the way over the Rocky Mountains. My goodness, that one had a ton of juice behind it.
You know, I was kind of curious what this San Diego power play unit was going to do, and it's that subtle pick by Wes Berg. Sometimes those, hey, I'm just standing here and I'm getting in your way, gives all the room in the world for Trey Leclerc, who, you mentioned it, just shot it out of a cannon, destroyed that net. And it's kind of a twofold. Trey Leclerc can certainly shoot it as hard as anybody in the league, but his accuracy has gotten so much better in the last couple seasons. Combine that with a little bit of a screen from Wes Berg setting that pick. Chiliano didn't see it. The back of the net sure did.
19th of the year for Leclerc, and it gets San Diego back out in front by a deuce. They have not trailed in this game. Saskatchewan on the road, playing from behind all night, trying to stay atop the standings. Church initiating, defended by Deacon. Church through traffic, draws a penalty. Mans. Saved by O'Riglieri. Logan in the corner with Keenan on his back, and immediately San Diego hands the power play right back to Saskatchewan.
You know, I'm almost inclined to say that whatever team gets out of their own way is going to be the team that's victorious tonight. Just swapping penalties all
San Diego,
game.
number 26, 2 minutes holding.
It's what, the 3rd holding call on San Diego. I will say, I think that's a byproduct of the Saskatchewan offense dodging and initiating harder. You know, I think earlier, instead of trying to go through the defense, they would have backed out for a pass. And when you dodge hard, good things happen.
A Rush 4 out of 6 on the power play tonight. San Diego's penalty kill had been one of the league's best entering the evening. That has not held true tonight. Shanks backpedaling off to Mans, now back down low for Keenan. Keenan shopping around up to Mans. Both electric shooters cutting Church, not able to handle the pass. Haley goes to get it. Shanks to Haley. Haley steps in off the logo from O'Riglieri. And Currier battling for the loose ball against the boards. Shot clock hits 0. San Diego has possession as that takes us to immediate timeout in San Diego. Rush on the power play, trying to get back within a goal. They trail San Diego 7-5, 9:59 in the 3rd. San Diego on top of Saskatchewan 7-5. Trevor Baptiste kind of having a mixed results evening, but with his 8 faceoff wins has moved his way into 6th place all time. So congratulations to Trevor on climbing up the all-time list. As we welcome you back, though, Saskatchewan on the power play, and Jimmy Quinlan an opportunity to draw something up for this Rush team. They've been very good on the extra man tonight. 4 power play goals this evening. Nick, how do you think they go about trying to convert with still almost 90 full seconds left in the power play?
You know, their successes come from these fun games of cat and mouse. You know, hey, which game of whack-a-mole, who are you going to take away? And making the off-ball shorthanded players for San Diego commit to either taking away kind of that top of the crease area or the step down from up top. So look for some of the low players to be holding the ball a little bit longer, looking to feed top of the crease and the step down up top.
San Diego will have possession out of the timeout. Pat Cavanaugh brings it forward, joined by Wesley Berg, Dylan Watson, and Connor Robinson. San Diego down a man, playing shorthanded, trying to kill some clock. The only team in the league this year without a shorthanded goal. Really a big change from the last few years where they were at the top of the league in shorties. Final 5 seconds of the shot clock, and Cavanaugh just lets it go.
They've had a couple opportunities tonight, but couldn't bury it.
Osick, the defensive player of the year, moves it forward to Shanks. Now Church will initiate this power play. Keenan, the late man, on to join Anderson, and Mans, the other two. Anderson up to Mans, cycling to the point. Off to Church, back to Mans, now to Keenan. Flicks it behind the net. Up to the point for Mans, step down, hums it over the crossbar. Retrieves his own miss. Church, one-timer, and the shot clock runs out.
Again, kind of saw that pattern of not just keeping it near the goal line extended, but actually putting a man behind the net. They scored from that catch and dunk from there, and now they're looking to get an assist from back there, throwing the kitchen sink. San Diego's shorthanded unit stands tall.
Well, if they take care of the ball, San Diego can kill the rest of this penalty. Wesley Berg in the far corner, looking for some help. Now it's McIntosh. Watson and Leclerc, the other two. It's Watson now. Shot clock at 8 seconds. Watson in traffic. Double teamed and dispossessed. Take it away. Adam J. Penalty is released. Shumay is back out on the floor. Back to 5-on-5. San Diego has killed off the penalty, something they have not done since the first quarter. Josh Zawada getting some minutes. Spins it to Keenan on the far side. Chased around by Matt Wright, second-year pro. Bodying in, Keenan. Now Barkley defends, and Keenan splits the legs of O'Riglieri.
Boy, what an individual effort from Keenan right there. You saw how fired up he was after that ball went in the net. And this is just a player, a leader on this rush offense, making a play and putting the team on his back. You know, it's not often that the first time you make a dodge, you get separation and you get your feet underneath you to shoot. He made 2, 3, 4 moves. And by the time he got that release point, he just used his height to his advantage, shooting over his defender. We talk time and time again about how difficult that is for the goaltenders. And we're back to a 1-goal game.
Ryan Keenan, the former #1 overall pick, having a career year scoring the lacrosse ball for Saskatchewan. Played his whole career for the Rush organization. 22 goals now this year. Baptiste wins the faceoff and then throws it into the Rush bench. Saskatchewan a chance to tie this game nearing the halfway point in the third quarter. Trailed by as many as 4 goals on 3 separate occasions in the first half. That's the largest deficit they've faced this season, including their 1 loss to Ottawa. 6 straight wins for this Rush team as the pass sails a little bit too far for Church.
Great job by Bradley right there. Those pick and rolls very difficult to defend because not only are you getting hit, but then you got to crash alongside the offensive player. Good rep for Bradley.
Robinson feeding Watson. What a save by Shiliano. Big time denial for the Rush.
Watson's kind of finding his role as last man on or first man on, just dive bombing the net. He's had a couple looks tonight.
Bailey running away from Matt Wright. Moves it along to Zach Mans. Step down. Mans has been quiet tonight. Shumay to Lucy off the save by O'Riglieri. Seals a quick trip down the floor, can clear it. Chico floating around. Zach Deacon a little stay and play as San Diego not able to get a full change off. Shot clock already under 10, and Courier almost splits the wickets, but Shiliano makes the stop and gets it up ahead to Jake Boudreau.
Now it's the Rush's turn to only have a couple seconds worth of the shot clock. Both teams slowing down on the substitution.
Shanks feeding Church, gets it on. O'Reilly was there.
Big save by O'Reilly. The Rush's offense has tried to execute that pick and roll on a large majority of their offensive possessions. Finally, they catch one, and O'Reilly with a clutch save.
A 5-2 Saskatchewan run. Wesley Berg motoring underneath. Kick save, Chiliano. Controlled the rebound. Messenger up ahead to Hasek. Scored a couple of big goals in the playoffs last year. Here's Hasek trying to tie it, and O'Reilly rejects it. Great game in San Diego tonight. First place Saskatchewan. San Diego on a 3-game winning streak. These teams both throwing punches. Courier probing around, moves it along to Leclerc. He's got a pair tonight. One of them a missile from the perimeter, gets another one on, and Chiliano up to the task once again.
Both defenses playing extremely well right now. You just look at the momentum of the ball carrier and the shooter. More often than not, they're almost running away from the net. Testament to good defense.
Bobby Kidd III is going to stay and play this shift. He's along with Haley, Anderson, Manson, Shanks. Wild shot from Haley, kicks up out of play, and will take us to immediate timeout in San Diego. It is a 1-goal game at Pechanga Arena. Seals and Rush in a possible playoff preview. 4:50 to go in the third. Seals and Rush putting on a good one here in the late game on Saturday night in the NLL. An interesting series history between these teams. Saskatchewan's won 7 of the 12 meetings, but here's the thing. Those 5 San Diego wins, all of them by 1 goal. Those 7 Saskatchewan wins by an average of 4 goals and change. So when San Diego wins, it's a close game like we have tonight. When the Rush have won, it's been in blowouts. Interesting dynamic kind of playing in tonight. We've seen a lot of really entertaining games between these teams in this building.
And it seems like we've seen 4 different mini lacrosse games within this larger one. Seals have the momentum, Rush have the momentum, trading penalties and then trading transition opportunities. A little bit of everything, a sampler platter.
Momentum kind of up for grabs right now as teams have traded goals the last couple of minutes. McIntosh moves it to Courier. Shot clock to 10 seconds. Courier underneath. Courier flying in. And Chiliano came out and tackled him. Ends up in a car wreck in front of the net.
A bit of a frozen in time moment right there. You know, we've seen Courier attempt to make this play, and he's been successful at it. Clips Chiliano, and then I think Chiliano just...
I'm not sure how they're calling this on Courier. He was parallel, and that's what he's advocating. They're sending Courier to the penalty box for penalty interference.
San Diego, number 77, 2 minutes, goaltender interference.
I wonder if we can get this replay again, because it's an interesting case. Courier might have a point here. Watch the angle of attack.
Patrick Merrill wanted to have a word.
Watch the angle of attack. Zach Courier is going to come flying in parallel to the goal line. There's actually no real contact until Chiliano comes out of the cage at him.
Yeah, and, you know, the pads are extended, so he didn't hit, you know, Frank Chiliano's center chest. If anything, he brushed his pads, and then Chiliano collapsed on top of him. An interesting call for sure.
Patrick Merrill very visibly does not like that call. San Diego's been on the penalty kill seemingly all night, which is one thing Merrill said they had to avoid. The 8th penalty kill they'll see tonight. Church up high. Bradley the rebound.
Got to say, Riglieri has just been really impressive tonight. Church from up top with time and room. We saw that go in. Sometimes that shooter-goaltender dynamic can favor the shooter once he nets one. Riglieri bounces right back.
Chico hits one off the arm of Chiliano. Now Boudreau out and running. He's going to force the issue and now let the offense go to work instead. Bright green shoes for the rising star in the National Lacrosse League. Rush can tie the game. Church the point man, the two men in the slot, Mans and Shanks. Here's Mans to Shanks, tie game. Great ball movement and Shanks puts it away. Not a chance for Chris O'Riglieri to make that stop.
Just a beautiful set piece. We saw a Rush offensive player kind of run behind the net and then run up to set that pick right there, kind of discombobulating the San Diego shorthanded unit. And again, we talk about how dangerous their passes are. They are always looking at that backside. Shanks right through the window, just a small snap of the fingers window of opportunity, and we got a tie ball game.
5 for 8 on the power play tonight for the Rush. Courier lost his stick and gooses it ahead with his foot to Baptiste, who wins it against the boards and then gets wiped out. Naso came crashing into him. As O'Riglieri's going to the bench with a penalty away from the ball. San Diego, if they come up with it, will have a 6-on-5. Courier then takes one up high and another penalty. Wesley Berg, backside look, Leclerc saved by Chiliano. Well, this could be a costly sequence for Saskatchewan.
It could, and stop me if you've heard this before in that 50-50 loose ball situation. One guess as to who came up with it. Zach Courier, that man right there. So it looks like there are going to be 2 penalties on the Rush. We'll confirm that here in a moment. That penalty on Courier, I think the hit against Baptiste into the board.
There are 2 different fouls on the play, both to Saskatchewan, number 8. First foul, he's got a minor penalty for boarding. Second foul, minor penalty, slashing. 4 minutes on the clock, 5-on-4.
So rather than 2 penalties by separate players, it is 2 penalties against Mike Messenger, and San Diego has an extended power play here to take them to the end of the third quarter. It is a third quarter in which they've been outscored 3-1 by the Rush. Seals 2 for 4 on their power play tonight. Leclerc, the point man, cycling it around Robinson. Thinks better of the shot, defers now to Leclerc. Leclerc tiptoeing. Robinson, Leclerc playing catch up top. Robinson cycling, Watson backside, can't get it through. McIntosh unable to handle it. He gets tied up. Berg comes to help, but it gets goosed ahead to Matt Hossack for Saskatchewan. You know, Hossack's going to run it up the floor. Threw it behind Zach Mans. Barkley retrieves it, and San Diego gets lucky.
So we're starting to see kind of 2 distinct looks for the San Diego power play. The 3-man up top, and then the 5 on a die, where Wesley Berg scored, where he just posts up on the crease. Both have been effective tonight. We'll see which one they go with.
Robinson hums it. Got a piece of Chiliano. Say it was deflected by the defender, so no reset of the shot clock. Robinson hits the pipe this time. Tie ball game. San Diego led by 4. Saskatchewan has really come to life. Tying the game just moments ago. Leclerc backpedaling for Robinson. Mishandled it. Fortunate to play it to the corner where it's overrun by Watson, and the Seals an unforced turnover. Now Kidd running. Saskatchewan shorthanded. O'Riglieri the save. A huge stop for the Seals. Denying the attempt by McClellan. Or Accioni, excuse me, who has one already tonight. Well, nearly the first 2 minutes gone on Messenger's first penalty, as this one leaks into the second.
Got to be frustrating. Just 2 small compounding mistakes gives the Rush a great opportunity.
Berg the point now. Leclerc, they'll switch places. Berg sets a pick. Leclerc, a missile outside. One hand pick up by Jake Boudreau. Now winning a foot race. Boudreau the other way. Boudreau short-handed. Coast to coast.
Boy, you want to talk about momentum. A short-handed hustle play. Boudreau just winning and gutting out the foot race. Origlieri has to do a little bit too much while San Diego's on the power play. Great individual effort. And again, not all of the goals that you score are created equal in terms of how much juice it's going to give the bench. That's high up there on how excited your teammates are going to be. Watch out.
Second of the game for Jake Boudreau. Now the Rush right on their average with 3 goals in transition tonight. Of their 7, 2 coming from Boudreau, 1 coming from Accioni. Now San Diego trailing for the first time in this game. Still a minute 34 on the power play. Final 25 seconds of the third. Leclerc has it. Spins it to Robinson, now to Berg. Back to Robinson. Behind the net. Watson tries to force it in, and Chiliano was there for the save. Rush can hold for the final shot of quarter number 3. Final seconds, Anderson running around, gets one on. And Origlieri the save to take it to the final whistle of quarter number 3. The Saskatchewan Rush outscored San Diego 4-1 in the third quarter. Jake Boudreau's short-handed goal in the closing minutes puts the Rush ahead for the first time tonight. We head to the fourth. Seals now trailing the Rush 8-7. The NLL on ESPN is brought to you by Hotel Planner. Travel smarter with exclusive NLL fan discounts at nll.hotelplanner.com. And by StubHub, your home for tickets to the speed and intensity of the NLL. Start of the fourth quarter, the Rush have come all the way back to take the lead. Ryan Keenan, a huge piece of this team. Haley Elwood down between the benches has more.
Yeah, I spoke with Ryan this week and asked him, what is this group's identity, given the fact that they are now in the top place in this league? And he said it's the pace that we play at and the pressure that we put on teams. He said we want to play fast and take other players and teams out of their comfort zone. We want to dictate the tempo of the game, and I'm absolutely positive we saw that in that third quarter on that 3-0 run that began with a goal from Ryan himself.
Well, the Rush over the last 19 minutes have outscored the Seals 6-1, including 3 power play goals and a shorty that gave them the lead from Jake Boudreau. San Diego still 45 seconds on the power play on the double minor by Mike Messenger. Berg playing catch with Robinson. McIntosh steps in, steered away into the corner. No reset of the shot clock. Robinson had to try and fire one and missed everything, so the shot clock runs out, and the Rush can take the final seconds off of this power play. And we were talking about it during the 5-minute major that San Diego took. You kill off a long penalty, that's a way to seize momentum. The Rush now have effectively done that and added the go-ahead shorthanded goal.
You know, should the Rush come away with a victory, you talk about 4 minutes of being shorthanded and you score more than the Seals do. Huge momentum swing, and credit to not just Chiliano, but all of the shorthanded players for Rush. Very well done.
Josh Zawada running around, final seconds of the penalty. Up to Zach Mans. Now it's Levi Anderson who has one tonight. Swimming and spinning. Racing across the top. His shot soaked by Patrick Shumay. Penalty is released. Back to 5-on-5. The Rush successfully kill off the double minor and add the go-ahead goal. Kavanaugh has it dispossessed but goes to retrieve it. Half the shot clock gone. Courier playing with Watson. Chased around by Messenger. Feeds up to Berg. Steps in. Wesley Berg. Save made. Put back attempt, and Chiliano is there again.
Great save by Chiliano right there, but that's the type of offensive possession you want to see from San Diego. The two-man game isn't working, and the defense is collapsing towards the crease. Well, Westberg posts up just above that. That could be a potential momentum builder. They just found a little crack in the armor.
Keenan with some space, probing around, whips it to the far side. Church! A seeing-eye finish, and it's a 2-goal Rush lead. The 400th of his career takes every ounce of oxygen out of the building.
And this is just a backbreaker. You are okay giving up shots right there, but we've talked about it earlier, how difficult it is for the goaltender to get a read when the defender is being shot over. Church, kind of the opportunistic 400th goal. And you mentioned it, this building is silent right now.
This building was full of juice when it was 4-0 and 5-1 San Diego. Since that 5-1 score, Saskatchewan has outscored San Diego 8-2. Just a total flipping of the script. Courier comes out with the loose ball, and the Seals now really reeling for the first time. Yes, they were uncomfortable and unhappy to be trailing for the first time, but this is the first instance in which they really have been looking up in the bad direction. Robinson steps in. His shot does not get all the way through.
And again, we see just how good this Rush defensive scheme is. Play aggressive, switch early, and then help from the backside. Some of these moments, you know, you have repetition as offensive players. Oh, given this situation, this spot of the floor is going to be open, and the Rush have just taken that away.
Rush calm and composed, as we've come to expect from this group of young players who have matured over the last couple of years. Keenan has it taken away. Shumay comes up with it. San Diego needs to get this offense jump-started. They've scored just once since halftime. It was a power play goal by Trey Leclerc. Kavanaugh. Backside, Robinson! Back-to-back hat tricks for Connor Robinson as the Seals cut their deficit in half.
What great vision by Pat Kavanaugh right here. We talk about how the Rush dodged with their head up. Pat Kavanaugh says, watch this. And you can tell how good of an assist this was, because as Robinson finishes, look at what he does. He points right to Pat Kavanaugh and says, hey, that's my second easy goal of the game, thanks to the assist from my teammates. That's exactly what San Diego needed. Hard off-ball movement, an astute and aware on-ball carrier. Back to a one-goal game. Gotta say, I've been impressed with Naso too. He's been tying up Baptiste better than anyone we've seen this season.
Naso's done a great job tonight. Baptiste 13 out of 20. Credit to Naso, though, for disrupting the flow. And San Diego has not really had much in the way of chances off the face-off. They've been fortunate to just have possession. Robinson coming on late. His shot was deflected. Leclerc chasing after it. Swats it back into the offensive zone, and McIntosh couldn't quite scoop it. One-goal game after Robinson's third cuts a 2-goal deficit in half for the Seals. Rush now trying to answer it. Into the corner, Robert Church brings it out to the point, cycles it to Zach Mans, playing two-man with Levi Anderson. Mans quiet tonight. Mans underneath, twisting on Origlieri the save, and Mans denied what would have been his first goal of the game. And they'll get the Seals for in and out of the crease, giving the ball back to Saskatchewan.
A little confusion by Bradley right there.
Eli Goldbrack looking for an explanation, quite confused. Say he was the first to touch it after going through the crease. Shot sails high. Keenan finds the rebound. Still 20 seconds. Wide open on the crease. Robert Church buries another one. Cannot leave him open, and his third of the night makes it a 2-goal game once again.
You know, and just a misidentification, a bad read from the San Diego defense, who I think may have thought they had possession. You see some of them breaking out, and that was pretty much a 3-on-2 right there, leaving one of the most dangerous weapons in white and green solo on the crease. A recipe for disaster. And again, it kind of just seems like San Diego struggling to get out of their own way, whether it's penalties, unorganization. And we'll see if Baptiste can bring him back.
2-on-1, Baptiste. Chiliano the save, as he has been rock solid when called upon tonight. 34 saves for Chiliano this evening. They've only asked him to make more than 40 stops once this year. That was the loss to Ottawa. San Diego starting to feel uncomfortable, turning up the pressure a little bit. Chasing after Shanks and taking the ball away.
Great double right there. Got to start manufacturing a couple more possessions, and they do just that.
Kavanaugh scoreless tonight. Steps in. Chiliano, chicken wing save, outlet ahead. Boudreau can't quite squeeze it. Kavanaugh goes and wins it away from him.
Great shift by Kavanaugh right here. A smart shot, a hustle play. Let's see if San Diego can do something with it.
Seals just 2 goals since halftime. Courier, defended by Jay, chasing him around. Now Hossack switches on, off to Kavanaugh, to the middle. Kavanaugh with space. Kavanaugh steps in. Chiliano smothers it. And with 9:15 to go in regulation, we have reached immediate timeout in San Diego. Rush on top of the Seals by a deuce. You are watching the National Lacrosse League. Momentum in this game really changed on a penalty. Zach Courier flying in, called for goaltender interference. That gave Saskatchewan a power play that they converted just a few moments later, much to the chagrin of Patrick Maryland, a call he did not agree with. This tied the game. Austin Shanks in the back door, and then moments later, a shorthanded goal from Jake Boudreau to give the Rush the lead. Since then, we've traded tallies back and forth, and the Rush with a 10-8 lead, 9:15 left in regulation. A really gritty performance by the league's first-place team on their 6-game winning streak, and showcasing the maturity that Jimmy Quinlan talked to us about this morning.
Yep, that maturation has been great to watch. And, you know, even in the first quarter, hey, what are they going to do? They're stepping up to the plate.
Well, NLL Friday on TSN moves to Saturday again next weekend when 2 heavy hitters face off as the Bandits visit the Thunderbirds. Make sure to catch that action. NLL Friday night on Saturday night on TSN. There we go. That's Valentine's Day, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Of this last 9 minutes and 15 seconds, if we're going to get overtime or one team's going to win, who will it say more about? Is it the Rush proving yet again that they can win a different kind of game? Is it the Seals proving perhaps that the 1-3 start was an aberration, they're a much better team than that? Or is it that it's still fairly early in the season, and these two teams are very different than what we'll see in 6, 7, 8 weeks from now.
You know, I would say it's a combination of more beneficial to the Rush and still a little bit early in the season, because to San Diego's credit, you know, they've only made a couple minor mistakes outside of the penalties, and the Rush have taken advantage of it. So they're showing on paper and on film, you're a team that you cannot fall asleep even for a second.
And Anderson draws the penalty on Logan. The Rush are going to have a chance to add upon this with another extra man. This is the calamitous night for San Diego taking penalties. This will be the 9th minor penalty assessed against them. Feed in the middle, pass doesn't get through, and it pops to Origlieri. And the Rush heading to another power play.
You know, it's kind of like the frustration is compounding a little bit. In the same way that we saw the Rush be able to bounce back from it, it seems like San Diego's kind of going exponential in the other way. Frustration leads to more penalties, leads to more frustration, and so on.
Two minutes for tripping on Danny Logan. San Diego also will be without one of their better penalty killers. Eli Gobrecht also sitting down. So Saskatchewan with a 5-on-3 and a chance to really make this thing a comfortable lead. Oh, and shot. Misses wide of the net. Zach Mans brings it in, gives it back to Keenan. Church and Shanks, the two righties. Now it's Church, hits the pipe. Off the boards, and it carries up into the Rush bench. It will stay with Saskatchewan, however. Gaudreau is that center fielder out at the Seals logo, trying to keep the ball on the Rush offensive side of the zone. Hands to Keenan. Back to Church. He has 3 off the man, scoreless tonight. Shanks hits another pipe. Still a minute 20 on both penalties. Church, Shanks. Kick save, bobbled around out front, still loose. And Courier controls it for the Seals. His 15th loose ball of the night. My goodness, does he fill the stat sheet. 2 assists, 15 loose balls, and a caused turnover. Oh, and a block shot also for Zach Courier tonight.
And that was crucial because, you know, with every second that ticks off right now, eats into that 5-on-3.
Robinson wiped out, and the numbers for Saskatchewan are pronounced on the other end. The shot sails up over the crossbar from Hasek as the Seals are able to get their 3rd man on. Back to a 5-on-3 for another 34 seconds for the Rush. Gobrecht to the Logan, both in the penalty box. Church backpedaling, Mans steps in, whips it over the crossbar. Shanks, shot clock at 3. Shanks doesn't know it, and Mans whiffs on the one-timer. Seals can kill off the final seconds of this 5-on-3 if they take care of the ball. Trey LeClaire will be the man of the task to kill the next 12 seconds.
A huge penalty kill by San Diego right there. I'm willing to say that kept them in the game.
Flying underneath as DeChico gets one on net, and the Seals kill off a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes. A 10-8 Rush lead. As Accioni running away from Deacon. Ball is dispossessed, picked up by Graydon Bradley. Seals have a takeaway and a chance to cut their deficit in half.
A great job by Deacon right there. This pressure that San Diego's applying, sometimes too much to handle.
Berg quiet tonight, just 1 goal. His scoring touch has not been the same this season. Courier looking for his first, attacking Boudreau. Saved by Chiliano, ball behind the net, controlled by the Rush. Hasek up ahead. And it'll be trotted across the center line by Accioni. San Diego starting to turn up the pressure a little bit as we get closer to the 5-minute mark left in regulation. Saskatchewan by a pair. Anderson steps in. Little pushing and shoving behind the net. Matt Wright and Austin Shanks, the delayed penalty against the Seals. Anderson's shot is on. Shot clock at 0. And they're going to send Matt Wright to the box. They cannot get out of their own way.
They really can. I was just going to say, similar to the 5-minute major, I just didn't really see a need for this one. You know, you got your man pinned on the boards behind the net. Just keep him there. You don't have to give him the...
San Diego, number...
How do you do
San
10
Diego,
times?
number 20, 2 minutes, illegal cross check.
So this will match the season high for San Diego with an 11th power play against them. And if you... Let's be perfectly frank about this. This is not a question of officiating. This is a question of discipline.
It really is. And, you know, again, there's going to be a variance between every single officiating crew. Ask any player when the last time they played a perfectly reffed game was. There isn't one. So you have to adjust as the game goes on. Every penalty is a data point on what you can get away with. And the Seals just they're not learning from the subsequent penalties.
Church is the point man. Shanks off to Mans. Now down low to Keenan. They'll cycle it around into the slot. Keenan up to Church. Backpedaling. Now Shanks, they trade places. His shot wide. Off the boards. Handled by Keenan. Takes a push from Logan. Works it back to the point for Shanks. Step down. Save O'Riglieri. Loose ball. Kicks up into the air. Man ball drill. Seals have it. It's Graydon Bradley. San Diego just killed off a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes. Now has to try and kill off another penalty. Trailing by 2 goals and still the only team in the league without a shorthanded goal this season. Not a good situation if you're a San Diego fan.
Would be a good time to get one.
Matt Kavanaugh is crafty and quick as they come. 5 seconds in the shot clock. Kavanaugh. I think they got Messenger right in the mask. As the shot clock runs out, and that takes us to our final media timeout of regulation. Saskatchewan on top of San Diego 10-8, 4:33 to go to find a winner. You're watching the National. Saskatchewan has overcome a 4-goal deficit on 3 separate occasions tonight to take a 2-goal lead late in the 4th. They're on the power play for another minute. Robert Church has 3 goals. Chris O'Riglieri has played fairly well for San Diego, but you know, the real story in this game is what we laid out at the top of the broadcast, the maturity of this Rush team. We talked to Jimmy Quinlan this week. He told us, you know, 2-3 years ago, our hand was awfully close to the panic button at times. It might not have been on the button, but it was close. This year, we're down 3-0 at Calgary last week. We're nowhere near the panic button. The same was true tonight. Down 4-0, 5-1, and 6-2. This Rush team has been cool, calm, and collected.
They really haven't. You know, kind of the criticisms of San Diego are compliments to the Rush. Hey, who's adjusting to the referees? Who's adjusting to the quick pace? You know, they've settled in well. They've executed on the power play opportunities. They pushed in transition. It kind of seems like they're starting to really forge that identity in iron, that it doesn't matter what your style of play is, we can match it and do it better than you.
This Rush team has already proven they can win in so many different ways, and tonight has been no different. Another new game script for them to follow, trying to finish it off for the next 4.5 minutes. A chance to really add some distance between themselves and the Seals if they can tack on a power play goal here in the next 50 seconds. Shanks skips it wide of the net. Well, that was Church, excuse me. Shanks goes to get it. Now here is Shanks down low. Keenan. Haley cycles it for Church, and Church burns it up high. Absolutely stings the corner for his 4th. Casual, nonchalant, and potentially a dagger.
You know, they just throw so much at you. Historically, throughout this game, it's been the skip passes. So what do? You take a little bit off the pressure to try and get ready for those rotations and take up space in between the passing lanes. Church identifies that and just stings that top right corner. Some shots have deception, some shots have speed, but Church just says nothing beats accuracy. A 4-piece for Robert Church.
Church, 4 goals and 7 points tonight. 18 goals on the season, went over the 400 goal threshold earlier in the night. And this mountain to climb for the Seals just got a whole lot steeper, and they can thank their lack of discipline taking another penalty as to why they're in this position. 6 power play goals and 11 power plays tonight for the Rush, and even when they killed off a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes, the Seals still unable to get out of their own way, taking another penalty just moments later. Now San Diego trying to dig back from down 3 goals. They've scored just twice since halftime. Courier attacking Kidd. His shot skips off a shoulder of a Rush player and out of bounds. San Diego gets a fresh 30 seconds. Seals are going to start pulling O'Reilly to go 6-on-5. They're in desperation mode already with just under 3.5 left. Empty net for the Seals. Berg and Leclaire trade places. Leclaire possesses. Robinson pops out for him. Gives it back to Leclaire. Backpedaling. Now it's Robinson. Cycles for Courier. One more. Behind his back to Watson. Save O'Reilly. Brother Chiliano, excuse me, as O'Reilly makes his sprint back to the other end.
Boy, and what a save by Chiliano right there. That was a beautiful 6-on-5. Kind of got their man, got their spot. And Chiliano just makes a great save.
DeChico has his stick fall apart on him, so the Seals will have a defender without a twig. Boudreau will go get a change, and DeChico could have gone with him, but stays on instead. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Ends up getting a block on the play. Credit to him.
How about it?
DeChico making a headsy play. Stainhouse gets it across the center line. 2.5 to go. Rush have scored 9 of the game's last 11 goals to overcome a 6-2 deficit in the first half. Leclaire looking for some help to Courier. Back to Leclaire. A rocket down low, saved by Chiliano. 3-on-1 loose ball behind the net. San Diego has to have this one, and they're not going to get it. Huge loose ball for the Rush. Barnable comes away with it. Under 2 minutes left. And they don't get it across in time. San Diego once again, O'Reilly sprinting to the bench. Seals to the 6-on-5, under 2 minutes. Leclaire to Robinson. Now Watson backpedaling. Leclaire to Courier with some space. Courier whips it to Berg. They got to go in a hurry. Berg's shot misses wide. Courier collects the loose ball off the boards. Shot clock did not reset. 7 seconds. Berg, far side. Seals get one back. It's Connor Robinson. Fourth of the night for Robinson with 88 seconds on the clock as San Diego takes their time. They stay composed and they convert a must-have.
You know, and this was just a beautiful goal. We almost talked about how San Diego's offensive problems early in the season were that they were being too selfless. I was almost worried that that was going to rear its head again, but tic-tac-toe, Leclaire, Berg, and who else but Robinson finishing on the backside. Game's not over yet, not when you got number 9 at the draw.
Robinson had 4 goals his first 5 games at the Seals. He's followed that with 2, then 3, and now 4 goals tonight. A 9-goal run in his last 3 contests for the Seals, and still some time to work with. Under 2 minutes, the goal is automatically reviewed per league rules. So Baptiste will have an opportunity to build on his face-off success where he's 15 for 22 tonight against Naso. If San Diego can get possession, get O'Reilly off the floor in a hurry and get one back, there's still a lot of time left in this game.
And what Baptiste has to avoid here, we've seen it, I think, 1 or 2 times here tonight, is kind of that long, extended battle at the face-off X. You know, I would say that fighting for a loose ball and trying to come up with it is more important than the 20 seconds that it might take.
It is a good goal.
The good goal is confirmed, so we will face it off now. We'll see if Naso can turn it into a wrestling match and burn some time off the clock. Naso is converted. Long-time face-offs don't matter. Member Derek Keenan into a believer that they do. Has a chance to prove his coach right here. And it is a long scrum that Baptiste wins the clamp. Tripped up and can't handle the loose ball. San Diego has it. DeChico then has it poked away, and Boudreau comes away with it.
A great effort by the Rush right there, and that might have sealed them the victory.
San Diego now has to try and take the ball away. As good as Baptiste has been all season, cannot pick up a loose ball at the most critical moment. And the Rush, a chance to eat time that is so very important to San Diego, down 2. So Mans has Shume ISO'd out on an island. Mans swimming, backpedaling. Origlieri makes the save. San Diego 45 seconds to go. Leclerc has to hustle. Origlieri's getting off the floor. Seals will go 6-on-5. Still do have their 1 timeout. They have no time to waste. McIntosh to the far side for Courier. Pedaling in. Courier tries to go up high. Missed everything. Barnable the loose ball. Gets it to Boudreau. The net is empty. And the Rush are going to ice it. Brock Haley puts it away. And Saskatchewan comes on the road to San Diego to put the finishing touches on a come-from-behind win.
Got to say, it's a disappointing last possession for the San Diego offense right there. You had Courier almost trying to, beg, hey, somebody get open for me. And the other 5 San Diego players kind of hunched around the top of the crease. Chiliano scoops the ball. And that'll do it from Pechanga Arena here tonight.
That will empty out the seats here at Pechanga Arena as the fans file their way to the exits for what will be the 4th home loss in 5 home games for San Diego this year. Just an enigmatic start to the season for Patrick Merrill's team that will be 4-4, very much in the playoff hunt, far from out of anything and still everything to play in front of them.
Confirmed it's a good goal.
But we talked to him this morning. He said, yes, this is a measuring stick game. They have first place. We want first place. Tonight matters. Credit to his Seals team. They've hung in there. They've played mostly a good game, but there are some clear areas that they need to clean up, namely the penalties and namely whatever the offense was unable to do in the second half, scoring just 3 times in the last 30 minutes.
Got to say, you take away the power play goals for the Rush, and the Seals are up 9-6. Penalties and undisciplined, just too much to overcome for the men in gold.
So it's a final score in San Diego. The Saskatchewan Rush come from back behind 4 goals down to beat the Seals 12-9. They are 8-1 and have won 7 games in a row for the first time in a dozen years. Jimmy Quinlan and Derek Cannon's team tops of the standings, and you figure top of the power rankings regardless of who's making them this week. They have put any doubters to rest, beating San Diego in one of the toughest buildings to play in as a road team and doing it in unfamiliar fashion. Their largest deficit of the season. We'll take a look at tonight's 3 stars of the game, brought to you by TFL. From San Diego, number 3, Connor Robinson, a great game with 4 goals and 6 points. Did everything he could to keep the Seals in there offensively as Robinson continuing to grow in his role as a member of the Seals in his first season in San Diego. Austin Shanks, second in the top 3, 2 goals and 6 points for the Rush. Big goal just before halftime to really ignite this Rush comeback. And the top star of the night, Robert Church. Just one dagger after another, 4 goals and 7 points to lead Saskatchewan, the silent assassin, in 17. There you have them, the top 3 stars, brought to you by TFL. Church, Shanks, and Robinson.
Gotta say, those Church goals, it just seemed like every time he had the ball in his stick and got a goal, it was just a backbreaker. Very opportunistic and timely game from Robert Church.
Scored his 400th goal in his very productive NLL career. Robert Church, tonight's top stars, down on the floor with Haley Elwood.
Thanks so much, Cooper. Robert, what a comeback win. Down but never out. Your coach told us earlier today he loves the composure of this group. How were you able to keep it to pull out this win?
Yeah, honestly, that first half is probably the worst lacrosse we've played all year, so we kind of figured we got the power going into the second half, and we get it within a goal. I mean, we're in a good spot. So we rolled from there, and, Frankie and the D shut the door. So, it's a good outcome for us.
When you talk about that first half being so poor, what kind of lessons can you learn from that you can take through the rest of the season?
I don't know. It was pretty uncharacteristic of us. We were dropping passes, just missing simple stuff. I don't know. But, we moved on. We still, I don't know if we had our best second half, but we got the job done.
This team has won in so many different ways this season. How much confidence does that give you guys as a group to carry this on?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good San Diego squad. I mean, their D plays hard, and they made our O really work to get open and get shots. But, give us some confidence moving forward, halfway point of the year. So we don't want to peak too early. We want to keep getting better and, finish the year strong.
Congrats, Robert.
Thank you.
Saskatchewan with maybe their best win of the season, coming back from down 4 goals to beat San Diego on the road. That wraps up our coverage from Pechanga Arena. For everyone here in the building, for Nick Ocello and Haley Elwood, for our producer Jer Bates, our director Harrison Collier, I'm Cooper Perkins saying thanks for tuning in to this edition of the NLL on ESPN. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time.